All right, I'm here with Kevin Ratterman. I'm Jason Ashcraft from Louisville.com, and I'm with Kevin Ratterman from Fang. Kevin,
Hey, buddy.
good to see you.
Long time no see.
Long time, that's no see, that is correct. Okay. I start off kind of ironically with an icebreaker question.
Okay.
So, that being said, you've got a $50 bill, a $20 bill, and a $10 bill. You've got to spend one on beer, one on your girlfriend, and one on your gas tank. Go.
I would definitely spend the $50 on my girlfriend because that is $50 spent on me as well.
Okay.
Because our well-being would be connected. $20 in the gas tank, $10 on beer because I don't drink a lot of it, and gas is getting expensive.
Good. All right, good. All right, so the ice is broke, and what I would like to know is what has motivated you to become a musician, and more essentially, not only a musician but a drummer.
Mm-hmm. Well, music certainly ran in my family, and my brother was a drummer, and an excellent drummer. And he was older, and I always wanted to be like him. And my dad played in a band called the Epics, and he played keyboards.
Tony?
Yep. Yeah.
I remember your father.
Yeah. And their drummer was awesome. He was so good. And I just remember sitting behind my dad while they were playing on stage and just always watching the drums, My brother did the same thing. And so they would practice at our house, and my brother's band would practice at our house.
Mm-hmm.
So we always had a full drum kit downstairs in the basement with a big PA, and I would just come home after school and blare, Led Zeppelin or Motley Crue or something and just try and play along. And that was my greatest memories of childhood right there.
And this goes back into the 80s.
Yeah, I have a lot of kind of unbridled energy that I always need to get out, and I feel like that drums is just this thing. I mean, it is the greatest instrument to play because you get to use your whole body and you get to be super, super athletic and loud and
And go apeshit.
Yeah, and it really is just this completely
So if you were on the Muppets band, you would be...
I would love to be the guitar player. He was awesome, but
Animal?
but I would be Animal. I would probably be
Okay.
Animal, but
Thought you would.
yeah, there's something exhilarating about just being able to let go.
So for you, I mean, being that you're a Ratterman from Louisville,
Mm-hmm.
it was either being a musician or a mortician.
Not necessarily, actually. I was
Because his family has...
Yeah, I was
some people
never. I was luckily never pressured into going into the funeral business, which is good.
Good to know.
But I think my father was pressured to go into the funeral business, and so he didn't want to pass that on. So they were always really supportive. There was a time when I was going to be. I thought about being a social worker, and I thought about going into woodworking for a while, but I ended up being a musician. So.
Well, that's good. That's good. So let me ask you this: is Fang? Are you all working on any new material?
Yeah, we have a lot of new stuff. We have a new album that's completed and recorded and mixed, and we have another album that's halfway done that we're going to finish this summer, and then we have an EP that's done and mixed. We're just trying to find homes for all of it right now.
So when do
we
you
don't have a
anticipate
label.
the new release will be?
We have no anticipations
Just
right now. So we're
gut check.
essentially in the shopping process. So
In the shopping in process. Okay.
I mean, I would hope that we have something to release by the fall. Definitely. Hopefully that will be the case.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. So the other thing is you've been basically in this off year, I guess you could say, with Fang and recording. You've been working a lot with My Morning Jacket and helping them being a sound engineer.
I helped out recording the new album.
Okay, so give me a little bit of or give everybody a little bit of an insight of what your role was with Circuit Hill, and how much did you participate in the album's production?
Sure. Well, I basically there was a producer, Tucker Martine, who is just an excellent. Don't have enough great things to say about him. Guy who is also a fantastic engineer, who's been around and has done a lot of great stuff, and I essentially put together the studio. Jim had decided that he wanted to record the album in this big open space that I had already done a lot of recording at throughout the last couple of years.
Which was where?
It's this it's a church over in the Highlands that they don't use very much anymore. They don't have as many members as they used to, and so they only use it on Sundays. So they rent out a lot of the space to artists and whatnot. And I have some friends who rent some space there, and I had been in there, and I fell in love with the space, and so I had recorded a couple of the project that I was working on there, and Jim came over and saw the space, and he was like, man, this would be a great, wonderful space to record the new Mom Wearing Jacket record. So essentially, as the band moved the equipment in, I put together all of my and all of Jim's equipment and built the studio.
Okay.
And then Tucker flew in, and we kind of had everything set up and going, and Tucker kind of heard what we had going on and had a few suggestions here and there. It's like, this sounds great, maybe let's try this on this, you know. And then we just started going. None of us knew what the hell we were doing. I mean, it was like, because you weren't in a studio that you'd ever worked in before, so you didn't know how things were supposed to sound.
Sure.
And we were cutting everything live, which you have to automatically, when you're doing stuff like that, you have to like accept a lot of things that you wouldn't normally accept, like a lot of bleed and a lot of things not sounding necessarily the way you would if you were recording everything separately.
And that was the kicker about this album, is that it was recorded essentially
All
live.
Yeah, mainly with the band just in a big circle, you know,
Right.
which is essentially the way that they all, you know, technically that you should never, you know, do things. And so we were just having fun, really, you know, and definitely Jim has always a pretty straight vision about the way he wants things to sound, but he's also really, really open to other people's ideas, and the band is very involved too. And it was really like a team effort for sure, with like kind of Jim at the head and kind of Tucker right behind him, and me doing a lot of the kind of grunt work and setup and stuff like that. But everybody had a say, you know. That was the great thing about working with that project is everyone kind of gets their say, and everyone gets their thing heard, and all ideas kind of get tried out, which is really cool.
Gotcha. So are you set to do potentially any future recordings with the band?
No.
At this point, have you all talked about that?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely had a really great time doing it, and, you know, I'm sure that there will be some time down the road, you know, like something will happen, you know, but there's no plans at all. I know that Jim specifically really likes to do things different every time, you know. It's kind of a spiritually for him,
they do
almost
seem to
like that.
reinvent themselves
Right.
on each album, staying true to their roots, but reinventing their sound on some level
Yeah.
from one album to the next.
So I was just really happy to be involved in this one. It was certainly by far like one of the crowning achievements in my life up to date, you know, and it was really fun.
When you got your picture in Rolling Stone finally.
Yeah, that was cool.
So
That was cool.
what did you think about that? I mean that obviously Rolling
Actually,
Stone is like a publication that
My
defines
sister
humanity.
loved it,
Yeah.
and that was cool. I actually felt bad that I was in the picture because I felt that Tucker should have been in the picture, you know, because he was
Okay.
the producer. So, but you know, I essentially look in the picture like, oh shit, somebody's taking my picture.
All right, so the last question I got for you here is for those of you all that don't know, I actually grew up with Kevin in grade school, from like 1st through 7th grade at St. Rayfield during the 1980s. So
Did you leave in 8th grade? That's
I left in 8th grade and moved to
That's
Oldham County. And when I moved to Oldham County, I started going to high school actually with Tom Blankenship, and me and him had some mutual friends. But one question I do have, and I left Louisville wondering from the time I was a tiny kid, and I moved to Oldham County, and I always wondered, and I want to ask you this now, approximately 20 years later. Why exactly did you side with Aaron McAdam and Tommy Moore in our childhood disputes?
Maybe they had more convincing arguments. What was the particular dispute?
You know, I don't remember. I just remember that you sided with Aaron McAdams and Tommy Moore.
Probably because you lived on my street, and so I felt like I had to break up the equilibrium a little bit.
Okay. And do you remember my German Shepherd Astro?
Oh yeah. Oh, I do.
Good. That's all I want to know. Kevin, they got a show tonight at Zanzibar. I'm going to be reviewing this here on Louisville.com, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned to waxfang.com for updates on your band. It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
And thanks for meeting with us, and good luck in the future.
Thanks, buddy. Thank
All right.
you. Did you heard what happened?